wabarakatuh. We are going to London. The three of us. Brother Omar, he's a big businessman who are working his shadow, and brother Salim, is there. It's a big event. Thank the community who has been supporting Islamic Relief for the last few years, and we are going to create a discussion today, actually, to learn from the questions and from the answers of the two brothers. Who can start first?
Salim Bey, Bismillah. As you're the eldest between the two.
How do we keep going with so much thrown at us, I say, as the Muslim community in the UK, in the West?
I talk generally about Muslim community.
Especially young families, so like us, you know, young grandfathers. We've got generations that we really worry about. How can we mold, bring our families together, work together, because we're all in our little silos. We're all in one room, but we're all so separate in our own thoughts, on our phones, or thinking.
First of all, if you talk about families, you should choose the right partner, wife or husband. This is the first step which can put you on the right direction. Actually, let me tell you about the story of my marriage, which I keep saying it to everybody. Alhamdulillah, I proposed few sisters, but for one or two reasons. The mothers put their feet down and did not want me to marry the girls, despite the fact the girl and the father were approved. Then Allah gave me my wife. Allah knew what mission I'm going to have in UK. So in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I realized that the other four, in spite they are from good families, good background, everything is there, but they are not suitable to carry this mission with me. So I discovered this a few years ago, after being married for 40 years. And actually, because Allah knew that my journey here was for Islamic relief, not for my doctor of medicine, so He gave me the one which enabled me to stand firm and get both the doctorate as well as Islamic relief or the social work. So this is number one. You have to choose the right partner. And as Allah, Prophet ﷺ said, for the man, the woman has to choose the man who is the deen, are from the same category, social status. Okay? Be close to one another. Education and social status. For the woman, the beauty, the family, the wealth, and the glamour of the family as well. But the recommendation is for the woman who's the deen. This is the first step to protect your family. If you go for the girl who is very attractive or very beautiful, whatever it is, beauty goes away in a few years' time. Once you become pregnant, you become different thing. The same to you. Your handsomeness is something which does not stay forever, but your manner, actually your deen, your caring for her. This number one for that. This number two, actually, who are the friends of the family? You see, you have to choose, and she has to choose her friends. The friends that remind you and her of the purpose of being in this country, and remind her and you about that of Allah and the deen. So another way, you are creating a small society around you. In the 80s when we came here, there was no big community. We are very, very isolated. The number, no facilities like nowadays. Not many mosques. Most of the mosques were like houses or prayer halls. Now, people are more privileged to have this kind of facilities, but they are live in silo in different places. They don't meet quite often like we used to meet in the good old days. If you don't meet, you don't connect, that means that you will not protect yourself and your family. Number 3 is have a program for the children to be designed by you and your wife, especially from the age of 4 or 5. Best of these programs is not only madrasa, because sometimes madrasa is not favorable for the children. But with the madrasa, you can do the scouting. You can do the outing. Maybe every few weeks you can take the family for a trip here and there to take them out of the culture of the social media. Okay. Number 4, maybe you can discuss with your wife, if she's working or not, that this is my opinion. I prefer my wife not to work, but to look after the children. Because no matter how much she will bring to the house, it's not as valuable as how much she can do for the family and for the children. Because most of our daughters and sisters work very hard in their job, and when they come drained, tired, they have 2 other duties: duty towards the husband, then duty towards the children. So really you are torturing them. So the first 10 years, especially when you have the little ones, my opinion is you find a way, you and your wife, of not, yani if she can afford not to work and look after the children till they grew out of this age, because the children need somebody at home stable to keep nurturing them every day. Number 5 is you have to have activity for your wife. One of the one of the difficulties, or one of the, what do you call it, the mosque, the failure of the mosques, there's no place for women to come to pray. And this is contradicting what the Prophet ﷺ said: don't prevent the female slave of Allah from coming to the house of Allah. If you don't educate your woman, your daughter, in the mosque, like the men, how on earth should be able to educate your children? That's a problem. Sometimes some of the ulama do not allow or do not encourage them to come to the mosque. Khalas. You know what will happen? She will sit at home watching television, or talking on the social media, or visiting her friends and chit-chatting, if she is a housewife. So how on earth somebody like this actually will be able to support the children and educate the children? There's something I used to see when I used to distribute leaflets, or Islamic leaf, in the 80s. At that time it was a fashion that the father does not allow the girl to go to the school when she becomes 15, 16. They sit at home. You know, when I used to take one day off from the hospital and distribute leaflets but from the letter box, I used to hear what? Hear them watching roads, neighbors, sitting and watching television. Like 16 or 17 or 15 years old girl sitting at home doing nothing. What will she do? Actually, this is something also which we need to look at. Education for the girls and complementary education and place for them in the mosques. Actually, as well, a place for them that they can go anytime, every day to listen and learn. Actually, you can do it if they can come to the mosque, or sometimes I think some of the brothers in the good old days started to have this kind of TV circuit, or having this kind of communicating through the radio to give the classes while the sisters at home. Any means of education is very good, but preventing women from coming to the mosque is fatal for the community, because when she comes to the mosque to learn more, she goes with her husband, with her brother, with her son, and listen to the imam as well.
But I think the trend is growing now, Doctor.
Huh?
The trend is now growing, inshallah. I think more and more people are starting to know the issues, and they're starting to introduce
Alhamdulillah.
and encourage.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
But still some mosques
Yes.
does not have a space, unfortunately.
Yeah, size. Yes.
With the social media, communication become better. But unfortunately, some of the so-called scholars of the social media, you don't know them.
Yes. So you don't know what they're teaching.
That's it. See, يعني, I'll be sending my daughter and my wife to my mosque, so I know what they are saying. But with social media, anybody can say anything.
True.
Unfortunately, there is some of that. Then you have regular meeting for the families, for the children to play together, for the mother to sit together to discuss their issues, and the husband, and all these sort of things. This kind of community bonding is very important to happen. Maybe once a month, where the families sit together, having a cup of tea or having a meal, and each one of the sisters can make a dish and can sit together to this kind of actually transferring knowledge, learning from one another, and making a society inside the society. These 5 or 6 or 7 are very important. Actually, to have them, actually to be like the incubator or protector for the smaller family in different parts of the country. But communication is very important. Sitting together is very important, and letting the children to have the confidence to go out with you, like see all these beautiful places. As a businessman, give yourself the time to take them out, maybe once every 2 weeks, once every month, for a day or two, actually, so they relate themselves to yourself. Also, try to tell them no social media after whatever time every day, and take the telephone from the children. Tell them this is time for studying and reading at home, maybe from 5 to 8 or 5 to whatever time, and maybe you can have the social media, open it maybe for an hour or two every day. If we do this to the children from an early age, they'll be able to follow a system, and encourage them to do voluntary activities, children. Encourage them to do sports activities. Encourage them to engage with other groups of young people, actually, in any activity which can keep them very busy. Because if they are not busy, they will be very busy using the social media. And social media definitely could be self-destructive, especially with the AI which is coming now, trying to let you do just completely not use your brain anymore.
son, 17, 15-year-old daughter, and an 8-year-old son.
Bismillah, mashallah.
Within my capacity, which I feel was correct for them, I've given them the basics of education and also empowered them with a small amount of Islamic knowledge as well.
Alhamdulillah.
Muhammad, mashallah, is growing up now, so he's moving on. He's gone for 40 days, Tabligh Jama.
Bismillah, mashallah.
After that, he comes back, inshallah. He's trained as a joiner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abu Bakr has completed his A-levels qualification,
Alhamdulillah.
and now he's enrolled in Sheikh Salim Durat's madrasa to
Very
become
good.
an alim.
Very good.
He did it on his own accord. He feels that that's the true knowledge, and he wants to acquire the knowledge in Hadith, Quran and Hadith.
Yes.
Amna, she's 15, she's going to GCSEs. And Uthman, he's studying primary education, very young, only 8 years old.
Very good.
And he's also, mashallah, just about to complete his first juz of Quran Hifz. Abu Bakr and Muhammad both complete their Hifz, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, what advice would you give someone like me for the later part of the years and now to bring them up in this challenging environment?
Don't isolate them from the greater community. Because as the Prophet ﷺ said, the Muslims who mix with people and become patient on the hardship of dealing with them is far more better than the one who does not mix. They always give this incident which happened. It was not a hadith, but something happened. عابد يعني
Person of praise.
يعني worshipper
Yes.
have been worshipping Allah in his room for maybe 50 years. And once upon a time, he looks from the window to find a young girl next to the river at the bottom of the valley. So he went to talk to her, giving her dawah. You know dawah? He sat next to her, she talked to him, he talks to her. Then, unfortunately, zina happened after 50 years of ibadah. Then the man was repenting. He could not be able to realize what he has done. So he was, for every step he was walking, he was making sujood, making istighfar. Then in the middle of the night, actually, he fell in a small place filled with miskin. It was very poor people. It was very dark, he did not know who are they. Then later on, another good man like herself came at night in the darkness to give piece of bread to each one of them. Say they were about 20, but at this night it was 21, because the new one came. So the man distributed the bread to everybody, and one of them did not have a share, because the abid took this piece instead of the miskin. So this miskin was calling the good man, "Hey, where's my piece of bread?" He said, "I distributed the 20 for all of you." You know what happened? The abid who was repenting, he took his piece of bread and gave it to this miskin, this poor man. Then he left them and he walked, then he died. So angels were having this kind of doubt. They put his deeds on the scale, one side, and the act of zina on another side. You know what happened? The act of zina dispersed all his 50 years of worship. Because the 50 years of worshipping was personal worshipping. But the zina was a community crime. The community crime. There's two people, and this could become a crime affecting the community. He did not find anything in his deed. Then Allah knew, of course. He remembered giving this piece of bread, which was not from his money, given to him just by mistake. be given from him to this miskin, which of course it was supposed to be the miskin's piece of bread. But by doing this is a community act benefiting different people in the community. So they put the piece of bread as sadaqah on one side and the zina on the other side. Zina was community crime, and this piece of bread given to the miskin was a community action, not even from his own money, but the community action dispersed all the zina and they were saved. Here, the moral of the story is your personal isolation and segregation make you vulnerable. The more you mix with people like the Prophet ﷺ and have feeling the hardship of dealing with them, make you having thick skin, backstabbing many times, headache, sleepless nights, so you can take it. Like we were discussing earlier on, the process. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let Prophet Yusuf to go through it. You see, for this 10 or 20 years, Yusuf was being thrown into the deep well, then being sold, then being seduced by the woman, and the woman lied in front of her husband, then the woman brought all other women to try to seduce him again, then actually he was in prison. All this made Yusuf alayhi salam to have a thick skin, because Allah was preparing him for the leadership of Egypt at that time. So nowadays, if we just say, let us get away from the community, we'll be very vulnerable. We'll be like this kind of house plant, very beautiful, have no smell, nice color, but when you go out, the sun will burn it. Not like these trees. You know, these trees can stand in the middle of the winter, autumn, summer. But the home plant does not. It's beautiful. Everybody looks at it. So beautiful. But actually it does not stand. So while actually you are educating your children the Islamic education, expose them to the greater community, which is the non-Muslim community. Don't isolate them from that, because this is the big one. When they grow up and they work in offices or companies or they travel, and always have a listening ear at home. If you are busy, make this the job of your wife. Maybe if you have enough money and either your mother or your in-law can come and live with you, they're really very added value. Very added value. And this one in the good old days, if the mother was busy cooking, cleaning up the house, the grandma or the divorcee, maybe auntie or even neighbors. Sometimes we used to put neighbors to live with us. The community was like this. They are not relatives. Old woman or our neighbor living alone. Why you live alone? Come and live with us. We've got an extra room for you.
That's what my wife always says, you know, to my children. So we wish you had grandchildren, grandparents.
Grandparents, yeah. Because you are busy. Sometimes you are a little bit aggressive. Your wife is, but the grandparents are very receptive. And this is what we find nowadays. When the children come at home, me and my wife automatically sing for them and make a lot of funny noises. Okay? That's why this listening ear is very important. Not only from you, but better to be from your wife, because the nature of the woman is absolutely different to the nature of man. She is more patient to clean up the children, to listen to them, to open her heart for them, and they trust her more than trusting the father. You know why? Because the father is a power, muscles, beard, frightening. but the mother is soft, more beautiful, of course, than yourself. You are scary. And she hug and put them on her lap and say all these funny things to them. So don't lose the listening ear from one of you in the house. And if your grandparent or her grandparent are still alive, maybe give them a room. Okay? Because while the wife is busy, you are busy, somebody else will be having the listening ear. But don't isolate them. Like this man who was Abid, but unfortunately he was just taken by the beauty of the girl, and within few hours, maybe an hour or two, things done. Yes, brother Yusuf.
I think it's there. Mashallah, we've got so many. So you mentioned scouts, you mentioned the grandma or motherly figure. But like, there's so much out there that I personally find it really hard to nurture. And so, for example, the recent elections and stuff like that, you've got the media saying this, and parents are saying, this is who we are, and the imam or the sheikh or the leaders of the scouts or youth clubs. And I feel like there's so much thrown at this, not only the children or grandchildren, but even the young individuals who are trying to earn a bit of risk here or there and everything. How do we respond, or we have the media telling us that you're Muslim, you are this, you are that, you are this, and we've got the values that we've been brought up with and we've been taught. We say, no, we are this. So a constant juggle and a battle. So I don't know, brother, but I find it really challenging to sit down sometimes with the grandchildren and children and motivate them constantly. And then you hear so many stories like, this, friends of ours, and they think children came and it says, well, who is Allah? Where is He? And then we think, what? How do I? So alhamdulillah, it's not that we've not got wealth, we've not got knowledge, we've got everything, but then I feel we are somehow overpowered.
Yes. It's coming back again to the first choice. Actually, the learning, the availability of education to the wife and to yourself from the very beginning about the deen. And the other point is putting the children in a bigger atmosphere when they can openly open this up with young Muslims as well. See, to be very honest, if we don't keep children busy having some programs, they will keep you busy trying to answer the questions. Unfortunately, our only direction nowadays is just send them to madrasa. And I'm telling you from my experience, which I could be wrong or right, some of them, they hate the madrasa because the quality of teaching is not there. Sometimes the imam or the teacher could having does not understand the culture of the city or even the language, and that's why children at this age, from 5 to 15, 16, they are hyperactive. You have to keep them engaged and busy. Actually, by having a program, either personal program that you can do for them at home, or community program. And as we invest in renting a house or paying the mortgage, as we much pay the mortgage for our children, for their life, for their education, for their well-being, actually, which is very important. What happened during election and the reaction of the Muslims came out of emotional response. Everybody was geared towards what's happening in Gaza. And we did not understand that the MPs in different political party is controlled by the party policy and party principles and party approval and party, what they call it, plan. And all the political parties in the country, especially the major one, they made their statement about Gaza. And one of them said, I don't care about the Muslim voters. If they don't want to vote for us, we don't need them. Is that right? So, but you have not created a platform for you as Muslim to lobby or to impact the policy of the parties or the policy of the government. You are talking about how that we are 4 or 5 million now in the country. But what kind of impact we have on the government or on the political parties? None. Because we don't have a united front. Each group is nominating its candidate for the election. Even as I told you, in one of the area, 3 Muslim failed and the non-Muslim won. But the votes for the 3 Muslims were maybe double the vote of the one who won. Because there's no strategy for the Muslims. There was nobody thinking for them. Okay, instead of 3 people go to the election, then let's have one of you. But this didn't happen. So, to be very honest, if we talk about the process of election, we were so emotional and not very well, not ready for the change, because we have not started the process of change yet. We are not mature enough to do it. We're still reactionary towards the different hot issues. That's clear? Yes? تفضل.
Sheikh, you know, we're reminded in the Quran
How's that?
that, oh, you who believe, save yourself and your family from the hellfire.
وأنفسكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة. Yes.
Yeah. However, you're basically living in England. I can only give you the example of we living here.
Yeah.
Okay. And the trials and tribulations that you see around us, whether it be on an educational ground or this new homosexuality stuff that's happening, and then you basically fitna within the basic community. Yeah. Not just you're not only talking about non-Muslims, you're talking about Muslims as well.
Even the Muslims.
Okay. Yeah. Which is the easiest and simplest way to encapsulate or say that this is something that you should do, and inshallah this will be a means or a way of fulfilling this objective of safeguarding yourself and your children from the hellfire.
We cannot protect ourselves and our children from the hellfire unless we work towards protecting others as well. And this is all the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ and other prophets. if I work hard, you and me, to protect everybody, my children is there in the middle. If I only look at my children, actually I'll be more vulnerable, me and my children, because the rest of the Muslim community will be vulnerable. This kind of collectivity between the Muslim members or the Muslim families is very important to create a smaller society. Actually, that I give the advice. The mosque is not playing its crucial role by giving advices to people. I'm not sure about the quality of the mufti in the mosques. I'm not sure. Are they the people that the woman can come and open her heart to them? Or a young boy at the age of 16 or 17, as you said, can trust the mufti in the mosque? This is something which we need to look back at the performance of our mosques. To be very honest, we can't just keep going on without reviewing the performance of the mosque, the impact of the mosque on the community, the impact of the imam on the community, and the impact of the madrasa and the Islamic school on the community. This has to be measured. We don't make research, Brother Omar. Unfortunately, we are in the middle of this highly sophisticated West, which based on all their work is based on research studies. But we do not believe in research. We do not invest in research. Unfortunately, we do not do it. How can you evaluate a mosque or a madrasa or Islamic school without getting independent reviewer to do it for you? And you'll tell the headmaster or the director or the owner of the private school, this is right and this is wrong. That doesn't. Let me tell you about the oldest Islamic school in the country. Maybe Al-Hijra, maybe Al-Furqan, maybe others in London, maybe Islamia school in London. Did you receive any report evaluating the last 20 years performance and their impact on the children? Did you have a meeting about the graduate and tell them where are they? What quality of education they are having after leaving the school? Have they gone to the top universities? Have they become the top businessmen? Have they become politicians, economists and others? This is what we are not measuring. So if we do not measure it, we cannot change the climate around yourself. You know how can you create a climate, Brother Omar, Brother Salim, is by planting more trees. A tree is not going to grow overnight. It will take years. Tree will bring animals, birds, and change the climate.
Oxygen, yes.
Huh?
So basically, I work for an organization in India.
Yeah.
It's called Jamiat al-Ulama.
Yes.
It's basic council of theologians for Indian Muslims. And they have a gathering every 6 months.
Yes.
So the leading sheikh, who's the leader, the president of the organization, is exactly what he said in his latest speech 2 weeks ago. He goes that we should basically plant trees.
Yes.
Not for basically saying tomorrow, basically 25 years, just literally two weeks ago. Inshallah.
Let me give you the metaphor and the reality of what do I mean by tree, or what Allah meant by tree in the Quran. مثل كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت فرعها في السماء تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها. The good word could be a good idea. Like the good tree, it is root
It's deep down.
deeply in the depths of the seventh earth, and its branch where? In the sky. This is your tree, and at the top of the tree, in the branches, it bears its fruits, not one fruit. تؤتي أكلها. It's multiple. كل حين, every time. you might find this branch has got 5 different fruits. The other branch, I would say 5 different, and so on. The more you water your idea and your seed to go deep down as roots in the depth of earth, the more fruit you have in the height of the skies. So you can imagine, if you look at it nowadays, the road is here, the sky is here. Can you imagine that your tree is going from this road to the sky? How many kilometers? Not only that, how long is each branch, and how many fruits at each branch? This is the actual work that you need to plant it. This is the kalima tayyiba. Could be the Islam, could be Tawheed, could be anything else as well. Could be a great idea. Actually, if you talk about Islamic Relief or any other organization, it started 40 years ago. Once it grew up to the skies, you know, if you wanted to keep growing, if you want an organization to keep growing, when you reach the skies there, the first platform was Earth, isn't it? Then the tree grew up to the skies. The second platform is the skies. So sky is not your limit. Sky is your beginning. But it becomes your beginning when you do what? When you are there. Look at the sky, brother Omar, brother Salim, and you are there at this level when it becomes very fruitful, and everybody in the community would like to take it from you. You know what to do to keep it growing? Give it to the community. Enable the community. Make your tree to belong to the community. So the community will come around your tree on this platform, and they will not show you the land or the world. They will show you the universe. They will take you from the land, which you are standing on it, and you are standing on the skies now, and they need to stand on the skies by saying, hey Omar, skies are not your limit. Look around you. It is the universe. Because you are Omar Bai and Salim Bai, you are a universal citizen, not a global citizen. The globe for you is like 2-bedroom flat. It's not enough for you, isn't it? Will you live with your 4 children in 2-bedroom flat? But your globe is the universe, where you need to go from the skies to see the different dynamics of the different dimension and parameters and horizons of the universe. You know, all this earth, the circumference is 40,000 kilometers. Okay? A galaxy diameter, the smallest one, is 30,000 light years. You got it? And they still fight for this piece of land here and here and here and here. Get up, plant your tree, then stand on the sky as a platform, then look at the universe. Liberate yourself by education, by experience, by community building, by keeping yourself busy looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture. One day you tell the children, who amongst you will go to the moon? What? Will go to the stars? What? Will go to the sun? Why others are doing it and we are not doing it? Who started, what is this? You know this telephone? They have got something in it called algorithm. Mm-hmm. You know who invented the algorithm? Mm-hmm. Al-Khwarizmi. From your own area, who invented algebra, and now he's become the apps for all what you see 1,000 years after he died. Algorithm, isn't it? Yes. His name is Al-Khwarizmi. You got it? Why Al-Khwarizmi did it and your children are not doing it? You know, this AI and BI and whatever you call it, it's come from here. From this man. 1,000 years he did it. The first one who was trying to fly was Abbas ibn Firnas in Andalusia. Before the European. And others, they were actually using the deen to discover the universe. Use the deen to discover the universe. That's why, if you remember the first verse of the Quran, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. And what was the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Jibreel? I can't read. Do you think Allah did not know that Muhammad cannot read? Or said that Jibreel did not know that Muhammad cannot read? Do you think? He knew. But he asked them the word اقرأ, not to read. It's seek knowledge,
Yeah.
seek information, seek direction. Okay? Read, keep reading. 3 times to a man who could not be able to read and write. It's beyond the reading, beyond the rehearsing. We are very happy to see our children having hifz. But are they alim? We have to prepare them to become alim. And when they become alim, we have to call them to, you have to become mujtahid later on. Then when they become mujtahid, they have to renew the fiqh. You don't stop, because knowledge has no ceiling. This, if you cannot open this ceiling and remove it for the children, they will never see the sky. They'll always see the color of their shoes, and sometimes they don't see the color of their shoes. This to respond back to us. It's up to us to plant our own tree. And brother Omar and brother Salim, it's up to us to empower the community. If we think that we are the only people who could be the custodian of our idea will be dead before we die. Because we do not enable the community to take the idea. Like, I'll tell you something. Who planted Islam in Pakistan? Who planted Islam in Indonesia? In Africa? In Europe? In America? In China? Local community. How on earth up till now I said, I am the one, not the local community? Who are you? You have to empower the local community and enable them to plant their own tree, because they know the riches of the soil, they know the climate, and they know how to put this seed. It's suitable for this land, but not suitable for this land. And the one who said that's who? The Pakistani, the Indian, the African, not the Arabs. The first 5 pillars of Islam is there as principles, but has to be planted according to the local culture and local climate. Because every soil is rich, but have different culture. Okay, brother? Bismillah. Carry on. Give us some of your experience now. And you, brother Salim.
So we got some water. Can I give you water? Because we've been
No, don't forget about me. I'm not here to drink water. I know, it's here, and I want knowledge from you. I want knowledge from both of you. Yalla, Bismillah.
I mean, alhamdulillah, we have, Muslims and fellow citizens. They're really, really up the game in the sense of, education, be it medicine or business, or and we see that. So, for example, we are from Leicester.
Yes.
Now, when I think of Leicester, I mean, it's a small, not on the map really, but now we have worldwide renowned branches which have become household names that actually stem from Leicester. So for example, if I was to go to Dubai or Canada or this one or that one, I will see a chaiwala. And that brings a real joy to me because I know the little bit of the success story of chaiwala, and that's actually sort of growing from Leicester. So we talked about the telephone. So from Leicester, I really take pride on the, Brother Omar talked about the Leicester University and the sciences from there, the fingerprint, that actually sort of came from Leicester University. So there's so many things, and a lot of people, think that we're really backwards and we don't have all this. We do have, our children, doctors, lawyers, barristers, in different fields, business, entrepreneurs, who are really shining and mashallah, coming up. So I think I just saw somebody shared a documentary yesterday when was it Barnes? Sorry, the athlete. So when he won, it was the headlines was British, blah blah blah, and he was known as the British. But the same chap, when he didn't do well and he lost, it was like a Jamaican. So when we're doing brilliant, we're known by the country or whatever, and when we do bad, we automatically, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Egyptian, this one.
And this happened with the African-European player in European Championship, not last one, the one before. When they missed with the penalty kick. The three Afro-Caribbean brothers from Manchester and other cities. This happened with Masoud Ozil in Germany. When they won the World Cup, he's Masoud the German. When they lost, he's the Turkish. This happened with Zizou, Zinedine Zidane. He got France the World Cup and European Cup. Then they tarnished him. That's it. This is actually the racist mentality. But this is not all the British and not all the European. Some of them are doing this, unfortunately, for us. But coming back to say that our children are doing very well. What is the difference between obtaining a degree and having a degree to do what with it? Yes, I got my doctorate of medicine. Yes, I become an engineer. Yes, I become an economist. Yes, I become. But what I'm going to do later on, after that, is my degree just to get a job? Is my degree to improve my salary? Or is my degree to keep going, obtaining something higher for myself and for the community? Like actually, many people became doctor, but have no weight, have no impact. Yes, I'm very proud he is a doctor, she's a doctor, so what? What added value such a doctor is bringing to the greater community and the smaller community? What added value this professor bringing to the greater community and the smaller community? They have to have what added value of this very famous imam who's got millions of people following him, but does not have any impact on any society. Just speaks very well. So we say hey and yell for him. Then at the end of the talk, you have nothing left for you. It does not impact your life. And this kind of what's next policy, Brother Salim, or Salim, what's next has to be a policy of every step we take, of every achievement we have, of every milestone we cover. You have reached maybe the football league. You won the football league in UK, so you need to go to the European. the World, then after that the World Cup. So whenever you reach a stage, you have to go to the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one. Then later on you become teacher. At this age, when you become 70, you cannot afford to get a degree, but you have to teach the knowledge that you earned or you learned over the last 40, 50 years to others. You have to become a reference point. Because those children, you know what I was doing this afternoon in the mosque, Jum'ah? Making the animal voices. All this kind of thing. Children were very happy. You have to know how to communicate with those children. Because it is gift from Allah to you to make the animal voices, to let the children to come towards you, so you can give them something. They can look at your face, which is actually the classical face of a Muslim with beard and topi and jalabiya. They will remember when they grow up that this man or this woman was the source of our happiness. It's not scary as the media is portraying, because you make them happy, you draw a smile on them. It's not easy to draw a smile on the face of a child.
Yeah.
And here, when you say, yes, I become a professor, so what? You know what, Brother Salim, by a professor what? In a super speciality of what? Of a subject. But when people look at a professor, they think that he has all the knowledge, or she has all the knowledge. Knowledge of what? I am specialized in a minute subject or part of a subject. I tell you something, look at my arm. These are the joints here of the fingers. In the good old days, the orthopedic surgeon used to take the body as what they call cash and carry. Nowadays, there's an orthopedic who dealing with the joints of the hands here, the fingers, or the wrist, or the elbow, or the shoulder. Then neck, then spine, then the bottom, then the ankle, then the knees, then the toes. You know, from the specialty of being an orthopedic surgeon into super specialty of having a specialty for each joint in the body. In the good old days, we have to have one ophthalmologist. But now, there's glaucoma, there's cataract, there's all these sort of things, specialty in the eyes. There's retina and transplant, liver transplant, heart transplant, lung transplant. Was not there. But those professors of super specialty, do they realize what's going around them? Or they just very, very focused on something which we needed? But the knowledge is not only in their subject, it's around them. So teach the child, tell him, once you achieve something, go beyond. Keep going beyond. Keep going beyond. Keep going beyond. Don't stop. Because knowledge has no end, education has no ceiling. And learning as well. You can learn from reading a book, from listening to a lecture, from traveling, from discussing with people, or even from seeing, like actually when you see some incident in front of you. This is the kind of teaching. The book is a teacher, but the events and the incident also another teachers. And you look at, you talk about Leicester and a small city and have got this great achievement, isn't it? Don't ever undermine the local community. Pioneering is not in the headquarters. Pioneering is in the local community. Pioneering is not only in London and Paris and Rome and New York. Pioneering could be in Kenya. Nairobi, in Mogadishu. So do you think that those people don't have brains? Don't have logic? Don't have vision? Don't have dreams? Don't have drive? They have. I always say that I have to get the pioneering from London only. No, you can get from anywhere. Any local community, if it's empowered, they can make wonders. They can make wonders. So Leicester City, they won the league few years ago. Was it expected? It's about 5-6 years ago, isn't it? Well, and most of the players were anonymous, including what's his name, Mahrez and others. And nobody knew, nobody believed that they will win the league. I was supporting Leicester at that time. And it was with heart and emotion. Even when I was traveling, I was still watching. What's the score? What's the score? What's the score? I did not sleep till I saw them getting the trophy. But they failed to maintain the success.
Success.
Achievement is something, but maintaining the achievement is something else. And this would actually, you look at a character like Alex Ferguson, he maintained the successive achievement for Manchester United for nearly 28 years. 28 years, from 1986 till he left Netherlands. Because you have to have a structure. It's not just one instant that has to back. To have an institution can support you to make you keep going from this level to this level to this level to this level. But actually, the motivation has to come internally from you. You tell your son and your daughter, please don't stop thinking. Don't stop digging at your heart, digging at the depths of the knowledge of this subject. Keep digging, you find treasure. Keep digging, you find treasure. And this about Leicester.
At that time, Doc, we went to Ethiopia with Brother Fuad and IMWS, and I had a terrible toothache, unbearable. So this is you have to go to the dentist. I went to the dentist anyway. So the dentist came. He had some people training under him. So they said, we have to take this patient in. It's an emergency. So I said, no, it's fine. He said, no, come. So he started talking. He says, where are you from? So he says, I'm from Leicester. So he turned around and he started laughing. He goes, if I asked him this about a month ago, he would have said, I am from London. I am from UK. Now Leicester is in the winning streak. Every child in the world knows about Leicester. That's why he's saying he's from Leicester. So even in the middle of nowhere, they knew
Leicester.
Because the whole world was talking about it, and that's where you say, we were unable to maintain that winning.
I went to Qatar just after Leicester City won the championship, and so did you tell people, where you from? Leicester, champion.
That's it?
That's it.
Because they follow the home, they don't follow Leicester. See, look at yourself after 40 years Islamic belief. You need to have a study on the impact of Islamic belief on the city of Birmingham. I'm not joking, I'm serious. One of it is the economical impact. How many millions of pounds it brings to the city of Birmingham every year for the last 40 years. And what the impact of such money on the economy of the city. We don't do that. Others are doing it with less effort, less time, and they get the star because they put the figures. In the West believes in figures and research studies, does not believe in emotion. If you say over the last 40 years we managed to create these few hundred jobs, we brought to the city 1 billion or 1.5 billion over the last 40 years. So city of Birmingham has to put the name of Islamic Khalif on its honor list. And each city, look back at the last 20 years of Islamic Khalif in Leicester, the impact of Islamic Khalif in the community in Leicester, in the community in London, others. If we don't keep measuring these impacts, nobody will recognize us. We need to stop to become, Brother Omar, firefighters, or going chasing our tail end like headless chicken. But
Do
I'm
you
just.
think- Do you think this is an ongoing situation that you find now generally within Muslims, that we seem to be very reactive and also very emotional as well?
It is.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of stuff without emotions, but not with
It is.
proactiveness and.
If we organize ourselves, we'll work less and produce more. How? You agree with me that we are firefighters and emotional reaction. That's right? Because there's too many problems happening. Too many emergencies. Is that right? We cannot deal with them the way we used to deal with them 20 years ago. We have to find, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, فلولا نفر من كل فرقة طائفة. Amongst all this big group, be smaller group, be specialized in something. If there's an emergency, not all of us should go out. Some will go out, some will stay behind. Maybe the majority will go out to help and save, but a handful will stay behind to observe and to protect whoever is inside the house. And this actually, the practical application of it was actually the story of Khalid ibn Walid at the time of the battlefield of Uhud. He was looking at the mountain and the people with the archery. He said, those are the people I need to watch. He did not engage in the battle with the army of Quraysh, isn't it? He was with 50 or 100 knights sitting, and Hamza told those people, look at this group, it's very dangerous. Don't disobey the Prophet ﷺ and come down from the mountain. When they found that the army of the kuffar running away, most of the people in the mountain said, our share, we need to take our booties, whatever you call it. And they left the mountain. Here, Khalid applied the verses. He was this ta'ifa, this small group, was observing the scene and the development and looking at the gaps. Said, the war is not over yet. Come on, boys. And they took his knights, the group, and went around the mountain and make the Muslim army like a sandwich. From behind, Khalid and maybe the 100 knights. From the front, the defeated army, when he found that actually the Muslims, behind the Muslims, with Khalid in front of the Muslims, the defeated Quraysh, army of the Quraysh. So the defeated army came back. They got this air.
Yeah.
They got this, what they call it?
Automatically breaks.
Is that your break? Wow.
Yeah, it's a warning him. It should be less than 10 meters. Huh?
It automatically brakes, Sheikh.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes what happens is, if there's like an oncoming vehicle, it does something to the sensor, then it automatically brakes, then
Yeah.
quickly brakes.
This is technology.
Yeah.
In the good old days, we used to keep a distance called 10 meters at
We used
least,
to be alert.
actually. So Khalid, because he was this kind of small group, observing, he managed to change the defeat into victory. You need to do it in your organization. How on earth Allah mentioned this 1446 years ago, and we don't do it. All of us go out. All of us scream. All of us shout. All of us jump. So what? Who's going to look after the children at home? Somebody has to be there. Because sometime a thief could come. When we went to Hatay last year, during the earthquake in Turkey, which is the other name of Hatay is, I can't remember the other name of Hatay. You know, I was on the 12th of 6th of February, 12th of February, 1 week after. Thieves start to come to loot the houses. Then to harass the citizens who are still behind, or to loot the people who went back to get something from their house property. Because when some of the residents found that the earthquakes is residing and the city becomes safe, they want to get the jewelry. Those thieves started actually to come and to steal this from them. Straight away, the Turkish government sent the army, not only the security, to secure the area. So us, during this time, if all of us during the earthquake left the house, the thief will come and take everything. That's why Allah said 46 years ago in Surah Tawbah, فَلَوْلَا نَفَرَ مِنْ كُلِّ فِرْقٍ طَائِفَةٍ. This kind of a big group, out of them was a smaller group, to look at these gaps and give you the guidance, because you are busy in the front. Okay, fine. Who is going to think for you? You're in deep water. But they're going to say, hey, go right, go left, stop, and go forward. Somebody has to do this for you. That's why if we don't do this, brother, we'll never come out from the firefighting philosophy or the firefighting culture. We have to give ourselves time to think. And none of us, including you, including Wasim, including Affan, everyone, because I kept asking this question, we need to review the job description of every one of us by allowing people to have more time to think. Sometimes the people will tell you, oh, it will be very expensive. I said, by the way, it might cost money in the first year or two, but one great idea will come from you or from him, might make the millions, or the greater impact, or the greater partnership, or the greater name. You got it? Without reviewing back our job description and allowing people to think before reacting, we will be in the same situation of firefighting, chasing our tail ends, or running like headless chicken. Any other questions, brothers, or any other comment? I give you a headache, huh?
Sheikh, I feel that Muslims in general now, we're losing our leaders, but we don't have any new leaders coming in to show us direction. Neither are we empowering our youth to become leaders. And we've come to the stage where there's too many individual institutes. However, these institutes are not run by leaders as well. They just run ad hoc. So there'll be an individual as an imam. He'll basically have a masjid. Who knows how much knowledge and how much information he has even to run an institute, but he's just basically running the institutes on his own accord, to the best he feels. But you know, the true leaders that we used to have, like the Salahuddin Ayyubis and the Khalid bin Walids, we're lacking this. How do we create leaders in our community?
You have to create leaders in the community while you are in leadership. Now you are in charge of your company, or in charge of a social, religious organization, or humanitarian organization, okay, or political organization. You are a leader now by your own merit. So you have to put the policy of each individual who's in charge of a department, his responsibility to create young leaders while they are in position. Not to talk about how can we create leader when we leave our position.
Sheikh, what you find now is in our institutes that you feel that the leader stays right the way to the end,
Yeah.
until he basically kicks the bucket, and then basically leaves this institute unattended, unempowered, and then he's just left that whoever is the next person down in the family or in the succession rate, he takes over. But this poor chap has never ever had the training to take over
Yeah.
this institute.
This is, I call it, because two kinds of fiqh. Social fiqh and religious fiqh. I'm not religious faqih because I don't know the theology, but I'm social faqih. What do you mean social faqih? And somebody work in the community and understand the mechanics of the community. From my point of view as a social faqih, not a religious faqih, it's haram. Absolutely haram and disgrace that you don't empower people while you are in position. You don't put a policy that everybody should empower somebody else when they are in position. When we started 40 years ago, Brother Omar, we were doing it ad hoc. Ad hoc. The first 7 years, as I said, from 84 to 91, 92, it was the backyard of Birmingham. The young volunteers, secondary school, including Jangir, Anwar Khan, Iflaq. Those were secondary school students, 1988, 89. We took them, we empowered them. Now they were leading. Okay. Then the second move came from 92, which is Harun, Mustafa Osman, Khalid Roy, Mahmoud Al Hassan, Fadi Atani, what's his name? Salah Saeed, Nasruddin Haq Hamid. They came in the late 20, in the early 30. They boom, took the organization from this level, rocket high, or sky high. Here, we were doing the empowerment, Brother Omar, at ad hoc basis. Nowadays, we cannot afford to do the same thing again. We have to institutionalize it. It was good 40 years ago. Yes, come on, brothers, sisters, mothers, and fathers can give their children. Nowadays, it has to be institutionalized, and the family have to ask you many questions before they give you the children. You have to have syllabus, program, activities to make those future leaders. You have to tell every head of department that you have a responsibility. Before your 5 or 10 years contract ended, how many of the KPI, key performance indicator, this one of the key performance indicators should be how did you manage to empower young people to take your position. The good example by Wasim, when he met me in 2002 in Balochistan, Kharan. You know what he told me? I told him, what do you want to be? He said, I want to take your position.
Would you like to use the toilet or anything?
No.
Are you okay?
I have a self toilet. Self-regenerating water, actually. And Wasim told me, I want to take your position. At that time, I was the president. No, 2002, I was still the CEO. 2003, I became the president. He now is the CEO, but he said this 22 years ago.
I was volunteering and he just started.
No, he was working as an officer in Kharan in Balochistan. Here, you have to keep the space for somebody like Harun to grow, Mustafa Osman to grow. Of course, somebody was not the best manager, but at least we managed to keep these people together. Here the challenge nowadays, brother, that those imams or those leaders cannot let go. Because the image, the glamour, the authority, the money, the power, the people. So why I want a dictator in Pakistan or India or Bangladesh or Egypt or Middle East to live while I myself does not live? I said, oh no, this dictator has to live. Has been there 40 years. Brother, how long have you been in your job for? 30 years, 40 years? Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
This is the problem. You have to what do you call it? To lead by example. To be a role model. Role model. One of the most important parameters of your leadership is how many young people have been empowered while you were in position. And this is where we need to. That's why, if we start making this impact study, or review study, or evaluation study, we will kick those people out. Because it's not their organization. I was saying, Islamic Leaf saying, Islamic Leaf does not belong to you as an individual, or to you as a founder, or to you as a CEO, or to you as a donor. Islamic Leaf belongs to the community. And the one who pay our salaries are the poor people. Have no home, are homeless, have no food, are hungry, have no clothes, are naked, have no medicine, are sick. They are the people who pay our salary. Compare your condition with their condition. They live in tents when you live here, okay? So you have to work as much as they suffer to alleviate their suffering. But nowadays it become like a job, and 5 to 9 or 9 to 5 job. You got the message?
In your so many years of doing charitable social work, which is the probably most unique moment of your life? Like which moment or which time of your charity work did you feel that, you know, this is like something I've never seen, or something that's not doable, or it's going to be a very, very big challenge?
A challenge.
Yeah.
The big challenge was, one of the biggest challenges was Bosnia. Because it was close by, in Europe, and the information was coming fresh every day. Number of people killed, mosques destroyed, displacement, people become refugee, and number of women who were raped coming every day. This was very painful in the 90s. This was a big challenge for all of us, because we could not be able to enter Sarajevo in 1992. The first time to enter Sarajevo was in September 1993 through the United Nations, not in the normal route. This is number one. Then Chechnya was another challenge. How to work and support the Muslims, actually victims who are victims of the war between Muslims and non-Muslims in Russia. And Russia should keep you actually working. This is a big challenge of not to do any simple mistake, even with good intention. No, not on the agenda at all. Okay, this is number two. Number three is the tsunami. Tsunami, when we visit tsunami, Mustafa Osman,
The Indonesia one.
Indonesia, it's 2005. It's December 2004, but we went 2005, and, January. But we have an office in Indonesia at that time. We were walking on dead bodies. The whole city was like the wave, the wave came like this,
Yeah.
and washed the whole city into the ocean.
Engulfed the whole, yeah.
You can find the fourth floor is collapsing in the building, the third floor is collapsing, and the first and second floor is still standing. you found boats, small ships, on the top of houses. Because to watch them, the top of houses. But when you were walking inside the city, underneath the rubble, you can smell the smell of death. 250,000 people washed out within an hour or two. Gone. All the records demolished. Or the building which have the records gone. There's no data. You can't do the work. You don't know who's who where. Okay. This kind another big issue happened when I visited Antakya in Turkey last year on the 12th of February. You know what? I called it the city of ghosts. Nobody there. Ghosts. The city of death. Khalas, finished. There's nobody there. The earthquake claimed the life of more than 50,000 people within 57 seconds. Tsunami 1 or 2 hours, 250,000. But the earthquake in Turkey, 57 seconds, claimed the life of nearly 60,000 people. And had an impact on a very big area, 500 square kilometers. The whole area, not only one place.
So amongst all the tragedies that you've seen, you must have obviously on the flip side seen a lot of Allah's rahmah as well in help.
Of course, يعني Allah's rahmah and help in every case. We never started with big budget at all. Never started with big budget. And the classical example is the second Chechnya war. We used to have $10,000 as a starter, as an appetizer. Myself and the country director in Chechnya went there. And after sitting for a few days, we rang Harun. I said, Harun, said what? He said, can we add another zero? Harun was the head of finance. He was now the chairman of Islamic Relief Board. And it was a struggle. He said, okay, I'll make it 100,000. When we entered Grozny, the capital, and came back and found the destruction and all displacement and we said, Harun. He said, what? You can have another zero. I said, sorry. Enough is enough, 100,000, and that's it. You know how much you spent? This was the November 1999. I always give this example. By February, March, April 2000, we spent about $2 to $3 million because it was a shoot to kill visit. It was high risk. It was devastation, and we discovered all this. And the most important tools or material we have was the information, which even at the time no United Nations was inside the city, no European Union, no Red Cross. It was only us. That's why when people show the material as images from there, at that time they changed the $10,000 into maybe $5 or $6 million, where we spend about $2 to $3 million in the first 3 months. Our first visit, brother Omar, in November, we were just scared, stopped, investigated, interrogated. Our second visit, the red carpet was there. You know why? Because of the money. Money talks louder. And this was the barakah of Allah came to respond to you. And alhamdulillah, this was the barakah. Because you took your risk, Muhammad and I and his wife took the risk. for about 2-3 weeks during that time. There was no hotel. Muhammad had a studio flat. He was sleeping in the main room and they were sleeping in the corridor. Corridor next to what? To the toilet, to the kitchen, and to the main door for about 10 days. His wife was sitting on a desk in this corridor. This was the office. And she was translating everything from Russian into English to make the $1 million project for us, Jannat. This effort done at that time is the barakah that you are asking for. The hand of Allah. He looked at Jannat, he looked at Muhammad, and he looked at myself and the other people. He said, yes, you done it, you good. Which is at that time. Alhamdulillah. Any more questions, brothers, or you are tired now?
No.
Yes,
I
bro.
heard about Salat al-Istisqa.
Oh,
Huh?
Salat al-Istisqa. I've got quite a few Salat al-Istisqa, the rain prayer. One of them was in China in August 2001. We went to a Muslim populated area in northwest. They speak a language which is not written. That's the verbal language and Chinese language. They have not been visited by any Muslim maybe for the last 200-300 years for our visits. And they have very dry weather. So Mustafa Osman and myself said, let us make Salat al-Istisqa. After being very well received by the local government and by the Muslim community. Mustafa Osman said, I don't have wudu. I said, okay, let us stand up, all of us, and raise our hand and make dua. Forget about the prayer itself. And we told the Muslims to say Ameen, because no communication in Russia. And we told the Chinese to just raise your hand and say Ameen. And Mustafa Osman was making the prayer, and I was making the prayer with dua. After 10 to 15 minutes, sky opened its gates. Even the Chinese officers who were with us said, now let's go, come, wait, stop the program, let's leave. The Muslims were so happy because the water came for the first time after 10 years, and it was heavy to cancel all our program. And the people of this area say that the rain fall when the Muslims visit us. Forget about the names, but this is what happened in China, and this was August 2001.
Which area?
It's northwest. I can't remember the name of the area. Then afterwards, we made a project in partnership with the Chinese government to uplift the water from the river to the mountain. Actually, with many generators on the mountain to keep the water going up to the. So that when we visit them 2 years later on, the whole area was green. The second Salat al-Istisqa was, I think, in Nairobi, not in Nairobi, in Mandera, North Kenya. And your brother from Wasim from Bradford, you remember him?
Wasim Aslam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was giving salams, mashallah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. We went there with the community and we do a proper one. It was myself, Wasim and his team, a lot of businessmen came with him, Jangir Malik and the others.
Zainul was there.
I can't remember, but actually it was quite a big party. We did this Salat Istisqa in after maybe between Dhuhr and Asr. Then it did not rain, but we slept. You know what happened? Before Fajr, after Isha prayer, it was like storm, thunder, lightning, and the whole city was covered in water.
Wow.
You know, Wasim, when he was giving the reminder, he told them, give a reminder. He said, I couldn't be able to sleep because of the noise. Everybody was laughing. This is what we're here for. Alhamdulillah. But actually, this was actually something was very, very, Alhamdulillah. Because all of us, the villagers and ourselves, did that. The last one was in Niger. Actually, we're actually having this drilling machine to get the water from the land. And as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you bring the water from the land, I bring the water from the sky. You guys. Then here when I was trying to hit Muhammad, what's his name, Afsar. Muhammad Afsar, he was with us. To him, your duty not to pray, just record. He said, okay. Then we were praying all together, and he forgot about the camera, and he himself went to pray and did not record. He only managed to record 30 seconds. But actually, Bismillah, mashallah, it went down, and nearly we could not be able to come out of the area till about 1 o'clock in the morning because of the roads become very muddy. This was the third one. This one has the spirit, all of us going together.
How long was it since they had the last water rain?
Huh?
Last rainfall in this Niger one, when was it?
It was 2005, something like this.
To what day? Which date?
It was in the middle of summer. It was in the middle of summer. It was very dry. The land was very dry.
Wow.
But here you apply your iman. You apply your iman, not your wording.
Yeah.
So Allah will respond to you. Any other questions? Or you became tired now? Want to relax? Yes?
You should have a drink or something.
No,
to
forget
eat.
about the drink.
Huh?
What about something to eat?